In today's installment of In Retrospect, we're going to be looking at Skrillex's Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites EP. The album was first released exclusively through the Beatport online store on October 22, 2010, through the record labels Mousetrap and Big Beat Records. The Mousetrap label was founded in 2007 by the artist Deadmau5, best known for his song Ghosts and Stuff. Big Beat Records is a subsidiary of the Atlantic Records label and acts as its electronic music-focused label. Sonny Moore is the mastermind behind Skrillex and has been creating music since 2004, where he was a part of the band from first to last. After recording several albums and touring with the band, Moore decided to go solo in 2007 and eventually started making music under the alias Skrillex in 2010. Under this Skrillex alias, Moore creates dubstep and electro house tracks, but has recently been branching out into new genres such as future bass and moombahton. The Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites EP begins with the track Rock and Roll Will Take You to the Mountain. This track begins with a drum loop and soon brings us into the main vocal melody. From this, the track quickly builds up and leads into an electro house drop. Moore demonstrates his signature Skrillex bass sounds in this drop, along with his vocal chopping skills. In the second half of the drop, we hear a strong melody, mixing perfectly with the harsher bass noises from earlier. This ends and we are brought back to the original vocal loop. The song builds again and we are brought to the second drop. This time it's dubstep.
Road boy bass, mash up the place.
Moore really shows his sound design skills here as he intercuts many different sounds in a coherent way, creating an almost broken sounding drop, with the beat occasionally repeating. From this, we are brought to another melodic drop, which is a repeat of the second drop. After this drop, the song fades out and we're left with the vocal loop. The end of this song introduces one of the most memorable vocal samples of EDM.
You have technicians here making noise. No one is a musician. They're not artists because nobody can play the guitar.
This sample comes from a video and where a man is commenting on the band The Glitch Mob and how they perform music. Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites. The song begins with the iconic lead melody and quickly brings us into a dubstep drum pattern. From there, we are introduced to another vocal loop before being shoved into a brutal dubstep drop.
Yes! Oh my God!
Moore once again shows us how talented he is with sound design, as he creates growls that sound like they've come directly from hell. Okay, maybe that's a bit extreme, but I gotta find a way to describe it somehow. Intercut with these demonic bass growls is the lead melody. With this intercutting between the two drops, the song's story comes to us more clearly as a fight between Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites. I think. I mean, I know the song is named after the David Bowie album titled Scary Monsters and Super Creeps, but I still think it's a good metaphor. After the drop, we are led back into the vocal chop section, which very quickly brings us into the second drop, which is very similar to the first drop with a few variations in the growl patterns. After this drop, we are brought back into the lead melody and the song goes into the piano outro and we fade. Kill everybody. Alright everyone, get ready to bring up your bats and torches because this song is violent. The song starts with a 4 to the floor beat with dubstep growls, slowly bringing in more elements. After the intro, the song takes us into the main vocal hook. Hopefully no one takes inspiration from this song, but dubstep fans tend to enjoy dark messages in their songs. This brings us into the electro house mashed with dubstep drop, with more melodic chords than in previous songs. After this drop, we are brought back into the vocal hook, which is identical to the first. We go back into another drop that is very similar to the first, but again, slightly different. Earlier dubstep was mainly driven by this sort of repetitive nature, so this was not very uncommon. The drop ends and we journey into the outro section, which is identical to the intro, but slowly becomes more and more glitched. The next song, All I Ask of You, begins with a very familiar, if not identical, drum loop to the previous song, but with a more atmospheric feel. I would honestly call this song like the lighthearted VIP of Kill Everybody. Once the intro finishes, the lead melody comes in with reverberated chords giving off a trancey feel. Soon the vocals of Penny come in and reinforce the idea that this is a trance track, a stark difference from the previous tracks. The song has no distinct drop and instead acts as a progressive trance song, and continues playing the lead melody with a drum beat to back it. This song heavily relies on various arps and lead melodies. The first verse repeats again, and then repeats the same chorus. As I stated earlier, this track is very different from the rest of the songs on the album, save With You, Friends, Long Drive. The next song, Scatta, brings us back into the dubstep we had been hearing in the album. This track features vocals from Foreign Beggars, a London-based grime group, and is co-produced by Bear Noise, a dubstep producer from the UK. The track begins with a verse from Foreign Beggars with a dubstep backing track. This then leads into the nastiest dubstep growls you've ever heard. I know I said earlier that Skrillex's music sounded straight out of hell, but Bear Noise puts that to shame with his sound design skills. The drop's glitched drums and repetitive sounds make it unique from other dubstep tracks, as it uses a vastly different, more metal drum pattern. The dubstep growls we heard earlier are then used again as the building blocks for this insanely aggressive drop. This drop is able to make these dubstep growls sound like they come from a distorted electric guitar. After this drop, another Foreign Beggars verse comes in with a drum step drum pattern beneath it. Right when you think the build-up is coming, the song decides to surprise you with another drop, which is pretty common for this album. Just when you think the drop is over, you're hit with the halftime drop. This drop is so glitched and distorted, it sounds unintentional, but it works with the track perfectly. After this drop, the original drum loop comes back in along with the growls. With You, Friends, Long Drive. This track starts with an atmospheric vocal loop and ethereal organ-sounding pad. We are then brought into a vocal chop verse section, which serves as the track's lead melody. Hardly even a single word is distinguishable, but this still remains a song that everyone can sing along to. The origin of the original vocals is mixed, with some believing it was written for a friend of Moore who had recently passed away, and says, "David, I wish you all the luck of the world." Others think the lyrics were written for a friend's mother who had passed away, and says, "Please tell my mother I'm down on my knees and I really miss you." I could not find any evidence pointing towards one or the other. After this section, a piano comes in the background to reinforce the melody, and the song slowly builds up. Just when you think it's about to drop, everything cuts away and you're left with just the piano, before being again interrupted by a synth lead. Everything then cuts out and slowly reintroduces the vocal melody, with drums slowly building in. The song slowly, wow, I like that word, brings us into the progressive house drop, where the vocal melody takes the song in a relaxing direction. Yeah, let's just chill and listen to this for a minute. Wait, sorry, YouTube's gonna flag this video now because I used more than 0.1 seconds of this song. Anyways, this song brings us back to the original vocal melody and fades out, leaving us with the cutest outro vocals ever.
Bye-bye, last song, bye, thank you.
This album still stands as one of the first albums to bring dubstep into the spotlight, for better or for worse. I still remember the first time I heard Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites and was blown away with the sounds that someone could create with a computer. The album peaked at number 6 on the US Billboard Dance and Electronic charts and reached platinum status, meaning selling more than 1 million copies, in October of 2013. Along with this, Moore received 2 Grammys in 2012 for the Best Dance Recording and Best Dance/Electronica Album, beating out Deadmau5's 4x4 = 12, David Guetta's Nothing But the Beat, Duck Sauce's
Barbra Streisand,
and Swedish House Mafia's Save the World. Skrillex was one of the first US-based dubstep producers to take off in the late 2000s, and now he co-produces songs for Justin Bieber, Ed Sheeran, and more. Tracks like Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites and Scata pushed the limits of sound design at the time and helped create a new genre of music, brostep. Brostep is basically a more commercialized version of dubstep that focuses on danceability over other aspects. If this album were released today, I think that it would not really fit in well with other releases. I think what Moore was making back in 2010 definitely helped pave the way for electronic music now, but unfortunately EDM has moved on from dubstep bass growls and has grown to focus more on production quality, over shoving as many growls into a song as possible. The only songs I see standing up in today's standards are With You, Friends, and All I Ask of You, mainly because the genre of progressive trance and house has not really evolved much since 2010. Alright, wait. Before you go into the comments to tell me I'm wrong, I'm just speaking my opinion. Like, if you listen to a progressive house track from 2010, and then one from 2020, they sound very similar in concept, whereas a dubstep track from 2010 and one from 2020 sound very different in almost every way. All in all, I think that Skrillex's Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites helped pave the way for future dubstep and electronic tracks, but was not well enough produced to be considered a hit today. Yeah, okay, bye.